Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode here on the Hermitcraft Amplified server. Love this area right here. Yes, we're back at the base and today the priority is to go above ground again because I spent way too much time under the ground and I've been tempted to do a few different things up here on the surface, and when it came to building today I just couldn't quite get into the mood for doing it. And originally what I wanted to do was build a building over here for the nether portal, and then I thought, what about building the melon and pumpkin farms? Of course we need melons for our potions down below, and we haven't built those farms over here yet. And my original plan was to build them somewhere off in this area, which is why I extended the little walkway over here. But when it came to actually doing it, it just didn't feel like that was the right place. And then after a while, I felt like either side of this little building right here would be pretty cool. So I spent a lot of time trying to come up with a design, a sort of tower to encase these in. And you know me, I'm not a builder. It takes me a lot of time to do stuff like this, and I usually need a little bit of help as well. And today I just couldn't come up with a tower design, and after a while I thought, do you know what? We're just going to do the bare bones for these towers. Now, if you haven't seen these farm designs before, I designed them on the original Hermitcraft server, and they're one of those farms that when I made it, people really liked the design, and it kind of became a little bit of a classic, and it featured on the first server and the second server as well, and it's even been built by Mumbo on the third server. I was going to build it myself, but he beat me to that one. And now that we've got our own base, our own area to do our own stuff, I figured it's time to bring these back, because these farms are amazing. We do them on each world because they are just ever so cool. So if you haven't seen this before, the concept is really cool. We use redstone torches to send the signal upwards, and when you do this, it means that every other one is going to be off or on. And it just so happens the ones that are on are powering the blocks on this side, the ones that are off are powering the ones in the middle, which means when we send a signal upwards from down below, it's going to power all of the pistons that are next to those torches or the blocks. And that was a terrible jump. Let's try that again. There we go. And yeah, so what we'll have in the middle here is below the... Oh, I've just realised something silly. We've got glass on here. The reason that I wanted to use glass is so you can look inside and see the water that goes down the middle. And now I've realised you won't actually see that. I might change this material then, because at the level where the glass is where the dirt is going to be going around in a ring. We then plant our pumpkin or melon seeds on each corner, and they grow into the middle bits. And then when we activate the farm, they're going to push the melons and break them. Well, they don't actually push them, do they? They just break them, and then the drops, some of them will fall into the middle, some of them will actually land on the sides, I think. Not too many. And then they'll go down below and get harvested. So that's how this farm works. And I don't know how tall we're going to build these up either. Another thing to mention as well is that you technically only need to power this from two corners. You see, if I were to put redstone torches on this side over here, then we could send one signal upwards and then have our torches for light on the other side. But I thought we'd do things a little bit different. We've got 4 inputs this time. That's just the way that I wanted to do this, and we can power it accordingly. You know, use 4 different inputs, so it just does one at a time, and then that way it creates less lag as less pistons fire off. Yeah, I'm really disappointed about the whole glass thing now, because I thought that was going to look really cool, but actually that's where the dirt goes, and that's just going to kind of look like dirt, isn't it? Which is never too much to look at. So I think I might actually revise the design here a little bit. I've got a feeling there might be another way to do this. So for a second there, I genuinely thought there was. If we put glass here and the piston there, then the dirt is at this level. So you'd see the dirt through the glass, so we can't actually use glass there, but it does mean that this area that's open, you're going to be able to see the melon seeds and the melons instead of dirt, which I think is just generally going to look a lot nicer. So what we'll probably do is either leave a gap there, or put some other sort of block in the middle and have the pistons at this height, and then they'll still get powered because we've got the torches there. So we're going to make that slight change, and then I'm going to build these farms up into the sky. I have no idea how tall they're going to be. Too tall, too short. I'm going to be perfectly honest and say I really like that height. I think it's good. It could potentially go a little bit higher, but I think we'd be overkilling it at this point. And from back here, it looks really good that you can see the blue in there. It's nice to have some colour thrown in alongside the yellows and reds actually as well, isn't it? We got a blue, red and yellow tower. I like it. It looks good. I'm glad that we decided to do it like this. I really had it stuck in my head that we needed to build some sort of tower case around for it. Is that just the sound of me? I could have swore I just heard a sound. Ignore me. Yeah, so this thing is 9 blocks tall, and as I was doing it, I started coming up with all sorts of other ideas for how you could lay out the pistons and wire it, and do some stuff where it's even more open, but you know, we're kind of past that point now. I've invested in the original design, and again, this might not be exactly like the original one, but it looks cool. It's got the similar concept, and actually the way the blocks just go every other diagonally like that is brilliant. I'm not going to fill in this space right here. We're going to leave it unfilled. Of course, all of that might change when we put some dirt in the middle, which I don't have to hand. But anyway, you can see the water's down the middle. So yeah, we should actually chuck in the dirt next and just see if it looks cool with that. You know what, putting this thing together is pretty easy if you do it like this. And I'm hydrating the soil on the corners to plant the pumpkin seeds. And I'm thinking, although we got the water in the middle to hydrate it, once they're there, I don't think the farmland is ever going to turn back into dirt again. So you technically probably don't need the water down the middle, but we're going to leave it there anyway. And yeah, this is it. Just, you know, plop the dirt behind you. That's like what I've done. I've pillared up, and then we can break it as we go down and put one above us, which is pretty cool. Now, Mumbo's ones over at spawn, I've noticed that over time you can see that some of the pumpkin seeds or melon seeds have popped out. And I don't know if that's the way he built it, but he used water in the middle as well. And it'll be interesting to see if that happens over here, because I can't really think of like anything that would interfere this unless a mob finds its way into this space. But what sort of mob can get into an area like this? I don't know. So I don't know how those ones got trampled, and we'll have to come back and check on these in the future and see if the same thing happens. Anyway, we're running out of seeds here. I don't think we're going to be able to fill up the whole thing, but we will be able to take a step back and have a look. Well, you definitely get to see less of the blue the higher up you look. But you know what? It looks alright. I like the design. It's a shame we couldn't have a little bit more colour on it, but that certainly looks cool. And now we've got to build the other one. And I don't have any melon seeds in my base. And I was thinking, hey, we should go on an adventure, find ourselves an abandoned mineshaft and try and get some melon seeds. But of course we've got to farm back at spawn. And I don't know if I'm feeling adventurous right now. Also, as I looked up there, I just noticed there is a floating tree. That is quite odd. Just one on its own, hanging out off the cliff a little bit. Let's have another look at that. Yeah, so I might go on an adventure, but I don't know. Yeah, floating trees. There's probably quite a few of those in amplified terrain. Well, that is looking absolutely brilliant. I had no idea we were going to do something that looked that good today. I really do like it. And it's just the way that it sits either side of our little entrance here. That works really well. I'm pleased. And the next thing for us to do is some redstone, which is always exciting. However, I've got a feeling it's going to be very straightforward. It's going to be a case of getting the timing right so that we activate them 1, 2, 3 over the back and 4 at the front here, and just enough like time for all of the pistons to activate going up to the top, and when the last one's done, that's when the next one will start. So it'll probably be a case of observing and just figuring out the timing on a few repeaters. So simple stuff, but that is the next step, and then after that I think we're going to have to figure out how we get the items from the water down to some chests. Probably going to end up using minecarts again, which have actually been really good so far. Speaking of minecarts, what on earth is going on over here? We have just finished doing a live stream, and I've been working on a project back at our base which is actually going to be fantastic. I thought it would just be a cool little project to do in the live stream, and now I've realised that actually it's just taking the whole villager breeding thing to the next level. So over here we have absolutely emptied Mumbo's sugarcane farm. I don't think it ever thought this would happen. All of these chests right here filled to the brim with sugarcane all the way up to the top, and we have taken all of this stuff and loaded it into these minecart chests, which I am going to nudge back to our base in a little bit. Not going to do it right now because I want to go and show you what's over there. But yeah, all of these are full with sugarcane. This is for turning it into paper and trading with the villagers. So we'll pop back over there and I'll show you what it is that we built. This thing is seriously cool. So do you remember last episode we built that temporary villager trading thing over here with the rails and the pistons and the ugly looking cobblestone, and it was pretty awful, and I decided to rip that thing out and place it with something a lot better. And check this out, we have something absolutely amazing over the back here. Now before I talk about it itself, I do want to say I was planning on building this thing out of cobble, and then I thought, hey, why don't we just, use some nice materials, and it looked pretty cool. And then I thought, do you know what, I actually want to make a room out of this. So now what we're going to do is have this connect up to this bit. It's all going to look really nice, and we can walk through here. We can trade with all of these villagers. It's going to go all the way across down there. It's going to be really long, be able to hold stupid amounts of villagers, and it's going to connect with the mirrored room we're going to build down there on the opposite side. That room is probably just going to have a few trades that are interesting with different villagers, like maybe the ones for, I don't know, getting armor and weapons and tools from these guys. And then this is the area where we trade with them and find out who's got the best trades and then move them off into the correct areas. So it's all coming together really well. This design was made by SZ Petty. No, yeah, SZ Petty. He made this one and it was really good. I decided to have a look around because I thought the thing that we had right here was a little bit lame and I wanted to find something that works with minecarts, and this thing did, and it's fantastic because it tiles them side by side. That means you can have loads of these guys all sort of ready for trading. So we can hook it up to this machine. We can just plop down a minecart whenever these grow up. I mean, you could probably even automate that as well. And then they get sent through into this trading system. So what happens is they go over the top in this water stream. The minecart moves very slowly when in water, but it does move. And all of these fence gates are closed. When it finds one that's open, it falls down perfectly onto this detector rail, which activates some redstone behind, and that repeater turns off and closes the fence gate. Then when we press the button right here, we open this trapdoor and they drop down below, and then we can take them away. And the way that we're going to do that is by using water at the moment. If I hop down here, you can see there's water streams. We will sort of create some sort of system where if you want to say, hey, I actually want to keep this villager, then you can change where the water goes and keep that villager and bring them into the different areas in the base. But otherwise it means we can stand back here and trade with these guys. And that's part of the reason why I'm bringing all that sugarcane over here as well. You can see I've hooked up the portal in the base so that we can load up some chests full of the stuff and trade away with these guys. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And I really feel like we can do some good with these villagers, because I've been looking into the different strategies for trading with them and realizing that a lot of the stuff in 1.9 with villagers is kind of like it was before. You just got to adapt your strategies a little bit. So we're going to probably be doing a lot with these villagers in the future. But anyway, I got to head back over there to Hermit Hills and start moving all of that sugarcane. So, got all of the sugarcane back, and can you believe it? There's quite a lot of chests here, isn't there? All full to the brim for the sugarcane, ready for us to turn into paper and trade. And around here I've been doing some tidying up, making this look cool, and we built this thing really close to this over here. I had to rewire this and make it a little bit more compact, and that's because I didn't realise I was going to turn this into like a proper project. So I've taken the roof pattern that we've got here from the walls in like the other areas to tie it together a little bit, and then I've tried to mirror what's on this side over here. So spruce at the top, yellow at the back, and a little bit of iron next to the slabs. So now you've got this area here to walk down and trade with all of the villagers. And I'm a little bit worried because I sent another guy up the top here. And where is he? Oh, he's stuck there because that doesn't move the minecart. Interesting. I'm going to have to go watch SZ Petty's video again because I didn't actually see how he chose to do that. I just assumed that was the method right there. That's actually kind of interesting. I have no idea how that would be done otherwise. So we've got a new guy to trade with here, and sooner or later, maybe this episode, maybe the next one, we're going to talk a lot about villager trading, because in 1.9 there's so much stuff that you can do with it, and I've got a fair few plans. One of those things that I might do is change these over to stairs, remove the yellow here and put some chests, and then create a system for delivering items down here for you to trade with. So whenever up top, you know, you've got loads and loads of sugarcane coming through, you can craft it, send it down here, and then trade with them later, which actually sounds like another great part of our big storage project, you know, being able to easily move items around. That does sound really good. Anyway, I'm going to continue working on this thing. We'll probably extend it a little bit, or I might actually take a break from this and go back to the pumpkin and melon towers, because those things are going to be really good for trading in the future too. So it'd be a good idea to get those farms up and running. You know, these towers, they look cool, but there's a lot of grey around here with the hills behind it. Anyway, I'm back working on this again, and I put a pressure plate down here to activate these, and I figured, like, every time you walk back and forth, maybe that'd be a good idea for activating it. Where are you going? Why are you dressed in all gold? He's looking for those villagers down there, isn't he? Yeah, and then I started to think, well, I was going to put this on a timer as well, so then I thought, what about both? And I think I'll probably leave this pressure plate here temporarily, and then remove it after a while, because it will activate the farms. Bam, there they go. Awesome. And yeah, the timer will do that as well. So what we'll do is just build a timer back here somewhere. It can point into this block and it can power it. That being said, there might be a limited amount of room because those slabs there are part of the room down below. So who knows if I can squeeze that in. Anyway, the rest of this is done with 2 repeaters like this, so that's 8 ticks in total. Now there's 10 pistons, and I think it takes 2 ticks between each piston because there are 2 torches, so that means 20 ticks in total would be the ideal time for activating one row then another. So if we were to put the repeaters down at this level down here and have a torch pointing into each corner block, we could have 3 in a row, which would be 12. So in terms of like squeezing it into this small space, there's probably not going to be a compact way of doing that. And then if we uncompact it, we're probably going to end up with loads of like repeaters going all over the place. And we got some more melons, that's good. So I think I'm just going to set it to 12 and leave it at that. Don't really need to make it exactly precise. So it's been hooked up on both sides, and this is what it looks like. Once we finish doing the redstone, we're going to put some hoppers at the bottom here to collect everything. What I want to do is actually, can I do this here? I'm going to go do it on the other side because we've got a little bit more space below us to work with. What I want to do is have... apparently we might not actually have a lot more space. Okay, that's fair enough. We'll hop back up. Oh, no, I want that. Hop back up top, and I'll show you what it is I want to... So forget all of that, I had an idea, and I realised that it wasn't going to work with the space that we had. So now I've sort of kind of finished almost all of the system. Let's head up the top here. We've got a little bit of a problem at the moment. As you can see, some melons have grown, and I'm unable to harvest them at the moment, which is so strange. So if we come over here, you can see that we've made quite a long timer. So I'm going to take those out, turn around. Oh no, it all needs to come out of the opposite side. Yes, that's right. So... oh, that didn't work. There we go. Turn around. Bam, do you see it? The first 2 repeaters went off, but not the one after. And that's the same on either side. Now, I'm sure this is some sort of repeater timing quirk, but basically if we set these to 4 ticks, they go through the first 2 repeaters. If it's any less, they don't actually go through the repeaters after it, which I think has something to do with how they hold a signal length. So it's 4 ticks, and therefore, for some reason, doesn't go through to the next bit. I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. But if we are to change all of these to 3 ticks, then it should work just fine. Let's just see if it can go across, you know, that far. And let's get this thing to activate. Bam, like that. Yep, and then it goes to the second one. So now some things should drop down below. And that's good. I wanted to test that to see if they could get caught on ledges. Now they'll do that in the farm already. So we're going to have to add some glass like so down here, which should be just fine. I didn't actually want to put it right there. There we go, to stop them doing that. I'll finish doing all of this later on. Anyway, this drops down to a water stream with ice that goes around a corner and heads over in that direction. So if we go over to this side right here... oh, by the way, I removed the pressure plate from up above. That got annoying very, very quickly. And you can see we've squeezed in an EFO hopper clock over here. So on this side, I'll add glass as well, of course. If we pop down below and drop down into this area, aha, you can see the things that I've been working on down here. So we've got this design again. You'll notice they're not side by side because we have issues with them transferring the wrong items into the different minecart chests, which we actually need to install. So let's add those and let's finish this thing up. One on that side, one on this side over here. And straight away it goes. That's fascinating because I guess this thing gave it an item. And yeah, with no items in this one over here, it would have got sent straight away. That makes a lot of sense. We're going to put a minecart in each one and a furnace on top. So that means there's a fair bit of signal strength required for it to be sent on its way. So the idea here is that they're going to have to get a fair amount of items into the minecart chest before they go. And then at the other end, it's a case of when they've unloaded all the items, they get sent back. So if ever the storage fills up, the minecart chests will stay at the other end and they won't get ping-ponged back and forth or anything like that, which is pretty cool. So down here as well, we're going to use some glass just to stop the items from going all over the place, although I'll come back and do this properly, but something like that so they just stay on the hopper. And we'll have to probably do something here as well just to make sure they don't fill out to the side. And this is where they drop down as well. So this one didn't get any pumpkins when we last harvested. That makes a lot of sense because I didn't change any of the repeaters and fix that issue on that side. Yeah, so that one's now come back, hasn't it? That's... oh no, it hasn't. Wait, it got sent on its way. Why did it come back? Can we quickly sort of... I'll tell you what I can do. If I break that torch right there and pick it back up, then we send this thing on its way. So let's follow this and see where it goes. It's already gone. We've gone up to our little storage area over on this side. Right, wait, you've still got items in. So that didn't work up there. Why did that not work? This should be absolutely fine. We have comparators pointing into... oh, does that one... no, that one has a torch. It might be the delay from the repeater is too long for this thing. Oh, that would suck if that was so, because we don't have a lot of space to work with this up here. So, what I did is I rewired this little system that we had before. This is our sugarcane farm right here, and just made it so that it used less space when dropping off the items into this bit. Now, we want all of this to be sort of tileable as well. I wonder if this block and the way it's powered is bud powering this so it can't take an item. The one below will take from it. The way we can test that is by throwing an item there. No, it took it. Okay. It also didn't blink, which it should have done. Oh, I know why now. It's because that's going to suck the item out before the comparator can detect it. So what we need there is some sort of inventory like a dropper. Yeah, let's go grab some droppers. So this is going to be our bulk storage for farms like we discussed a long time ago, and we did the sugarcane one pretty quickly. It's been a long time and we're finally doing the next one. So I do believe it's this side was melons, this side over here was pumpkins. They probably got loads of like random items in. There you go. Although some some melons did successfully go into there. And what we've also got to do, which I'll save for another episode now I think, is some sort of transfer system from these chests over here out to like another area of the base to trade with the villagers in the future. So we'll have some sort of contraption going on down here, which probably means we're going to tear up everything we've built right here. Although redirecting these rails should be fairly straightforward. What I'll do is I'll turn right here and then they'll turn left and just come over down the side here, which should be relatively straightforward. So what did I say we need to remove? It was this hopper right here. We're going to put a dropper facing downwards, bam, and then on the other side the same thing again, and this time it should work, I hope. Why are you facing to the side? That doesn't make any sense. I'm all the way down here. How can it determine that I'm trying to place it to the side when I'm so far below it? I don't know how that is not facing downwards. Right, anyway, if we go up here we should see the rail blink this time. Yes, that is a very good sign. That means that the minecart chest should now be able to deliver items. Alright, all things are finished. This is working absolutely perfectly. I was also just thinking we can tile this design for future farms, and if we clear up this space here and make a tileable design for delivering items to other places, then we can use all of this stuff right here for trading with villagers as well, which is extremely cool. Looking forward to that project, and everything else is sorted out, you know, all the glass, all the repeater timings, all of those things have been sorted out. Our farms are working brilliantly, and actually let's head up top and have a look at them one more time. I am thinking about making these a little bit taller. If we need more drops, then that is of course something we can do. But that turned out really great this episode, so I do hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, leave a like on the video, and I will see you in the next episode. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.